pledge allegiance to the sunshine law. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, roll call.
Let's do a roll call. Commissioner Ankle,
Here.
Commissioner Capitale,
Here.
Mr. Gonzalez, couldn't make it tonight. Hope they call in. Commissioner Morales Vasquez,
Here.
Commissioner Pollard,
Here.
Commissioner Shannon,
Here.
Chairman Pinzone.
Here.
Public session, sunshine law, pursuant to the requirements of the NJSA 10-4-10 of the Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Elizabeth has been given by mailing the January 2013 schedule to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union and designated to receive such notice, and by posting the 2013 meeting schedule on the Housing Authority Office Bulletin Board, and further by filing the 2013 meeting schedule and the annual meeting date of January 2nd, 2014 with the Office City Clerk.
Public session.
This is where you come in.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And I'm Patricia Jelly. I'm an organizer with the Elizabeth Education Organizing Committee, which is an independent group of parents and interested community people who want to take their rightful place in order to improve our public schools. Okay, so Fred Daniels was supposed to be here, but he called in. He was going to be late, so I'm a substitute for him.
Fred Daniels and...
Fred Daniels is a leader, within our group. Okay, and he's also a guardian of his nephew, who goes to Jefferson High School as well too. Okay, and we're part of a statewide organization. We have chapters in Elizabeth, in addition to Elizabeth, Newark, Jersey City, Patterson, and Asbury Park. A number of children, are in our public schools from public housing. So we're here tonight to find out if there are ways in which we might cooperate, we might connect, with each other. An example of what needs to be changed is the public response time of the school board meetings. If any of you have children or grandchildren in Elizabeth, you know that if you want to speak at a school board meeting, you have to sign up at 6 p.m. And usually the meeting begins at 7:30, but it begins with entertainment by the children and then awards giving as well too. And both of those things are wonderful, but it shouldn't be on a night of a business meeting. And then the school board has its business meeting. And so often the public response time, now someone who has signed up at 6 p.m. Can speak anywhere from 9:30 if we're lucky, 10 o'clock, 10:30, or 11 o'clock, okay? Now, as your board does, and the city council also, has the public response time before, your meeting. And several of the other government agencies as well, too. So we've been working to try to see if we can force the hand of the school board to change that policy and to make it earlier in the evening. And this, certainly would be, we're here tonight to see, are there ways in which we can meet, with some parents and other interested residents, within the housing, public housing. I know I was speaking earlier today to Kathy, I'm sorry, of Housing.
Kathy Hart.
Hart, yes. And she says that right here at, Mavlac Manor, there is a family success program.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that would certainly be an opportunity if we were able to get together, and it would not just be me, but certainly the members of our group as well too. So that's one example. because we feel that if we can get this changed to an appropriate time, when the issues are important to bring up to the school board, such as the 160 credits that now is required for every student graduating from high school, from Elizabeth, even though the state requires only 120. So for some students, that's wonderful. 160 credits are great, but not for every student, and has pushed a number of students out. I think the last I heard was our graduation rate is 68% in Elizabeth, which is certainly not in the 21st century something which is sufficient. The difference, again, between some schools, the gifted and talented and the neighborhood schools, class size is always within the state requirement in the gifted and talented. It is not always in the other schools as well, too. So those are two other, issues that we are addressing, but could address more easily if we changed. But so, basically, I'm here tonight just to, and obviously answer any questions that you might have, to really see, are there ways, such as with Family Success, that we might reach out, to the different populations, particularly parents of public school children.
So do you just want to sit down and engage them and rally support? Or
No,
is there
participate. Participation, oh, yeah.
And I think, is there a petition going around?
There has been. Last year, we gathered 574 petitions to have the school board change, the time. And so, we're having a meeting next week in which, is an open meeting. And we're going to say, does it really make sense at this particular point to continue collecting signatures, or do we need to have a different approach? We did have a press conference on the 21st of February, I think it was, and it was a very cold night. So we had 12 adults there and 5 children, so that certainly was not sufficient. But we might do that again, but try other techniques as well, too.
Okay.
We've been,
So you presented those, or that petition
Oh,
to the school
those
board?
positions were all presented to the board
And
throughout.
nothing was-
Nothing.
Okay.
And for Elizabeth, 574 was not a bad number. It really is not a bad number, and it was a variety, from all of the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware of the issue at the school board and how the time for their public meetings or where you can participate is delayed. And I agree that I don't think it's fair. But when it comes to getting parents engaged here, I think
It's a challenge. I understand that.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge, but I don't see it being impossible. But I would defer to maybe the Family Success Center themselves, correct?
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll get you to sit down and talk with the people there. I don't know if Ms. Hart told you that. That covers, and then because that program is relatively new, I guess it started in August, but it's going to run for a number of years. So that's a good place to start to get this captive audience here at Mavlac Manor. I'd have to figure out how to get you an audience downtown where things are spread out and there's no real. You got any ideas?
Maybe through Miss Osceola.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Winona.
I was telling him maybe through Miss Osceola Bragg
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great.
because of her program,
Yeah.
and she has the largest adult,
Yeah. So
communications and everything down there.
So we'll get back to you. Ms. Hart obviously has your number, right?
Yes, she does, and here I can give
Okay,
you.
yeah.
I'll pass out my.
Hey.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone here is opposed to having parents engaged. I think that's priority.
No,
we want to see our
particularly-
kids succeed.
yeah,
The parents need
Yeah,
to be
particularly
aware.
if
So.
whatever the parents want to do, support
Yeah.
them.
Excuse me.
Sure. I'm sorry.
So we're more than happy to
Yeah.
work with you.
No, it's great. Really appreciate it because I'm sure you have a lot on your agenda, but appreciate very much.
Yeah.
The,
And you're doing a good job because I knew I heard of your name. So.
well, it's not an easy name to forget. I mean,
And I personally know Miss Jelly because we have been, we had took care of some business years ago.
Yeah.
A couple of supermarkets down in our area.
That's exactly right.
So I do remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let us, we'll do some stuff and get you where you can present and.
Fantastic, you know?
And then we'll take it from there.
Good, wonderful.
Okay, all right.
Very good, and I hope the rest of your meeting goes well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Sorry, I didn't ask.
That's all right.
So we're going to go to the adoption of the minutes for our last meeting, February 11, 2013. Any questions or comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Same.
Opposed? Okay, let me get this thing. Who seconded that?
Who moved it?
Right, so I have a. Okay, I got it.
Approving of the minutes, or sorry, payment of the bills for March 7, 2013. Questions or comments?
All in favor? Opposed?
Communications.
We had one communication in the, and this came from the Enhanced Care for the Independent Seniors. This is coming out of the Gateway Family Success Center, and there is a job fair, March 11th, 2012. And it would be, if anybody knows, anybody that is a certified nursing assistant, home health aide, or medication aid seeking employment, I think you got a pretty good job fair coming up. I
You
know
said March 11th?
it is March
Yeah,
11th.
today. Is that today?
That's today.
Yeah. It's today. Okay, it is today. I don't know. Well, here's the deal. If you know anybody, though,
Okay.
you can still get the information from the people who are running it. I guess behind the fact that this went out last week. So, yeah, if you know anybody, let us know, and we'll put them in contact with the people who are running the job for you. Actually, it's still going on now, so you can run over there. And,
Well, I'm
application.
Can I add something too?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So on the 23rd of March, the YWCA, and they've partnered with Moms Demand for Action, Senator Lesniak. They're going to have an anti-violence rally here at Earthleben Center. So I'd like to see if I could get your help in getting people there. The commissioners, if you're available, if you can also attend. This is an anti-violence rally. The YWCA's mission is to help women who have been victims of domestic abuse. March 23rd at 11 o'clock. Moms and Men Action, they're there to advocate for children who have been victims of violence, and also with the United Youth Council. They assist young adults who have been victims of violence. So it makes sense for all of us to come together for this common purpose, to try to eliminate violence and bring attention to some really important issues happening around the country. Not only Elizabeth, not only the county or the state, around the country. So you guys are more than welcome to come, and I hope you can make it.
And where's it going to be, at the Earthleben?
Earthleben Center. Had to make my little pitch.
Don't forget we need the flyers.
Oh, I have some.
Okay.
Report of Executive Director.
All right, much of the report deals with, we just discussed this last fall. Okay, the idea of this sequestration legislation coming out of Washington, D.C. Has actually become a reality. There's no need to discuss the political ins and outs of it. What it means is that there is across the board cuts into all federal government spending activities. So, quite simply, that means we get less money than we would normally would get. We don't even know exactly what we would be getting this year as opposed to what we asked for and as opposed to what we got last year. So the numbers and the strategies are still coming in, like from HUD. We do know that, for instance, this was actually this could have been, this is subject to a two-step knockout punch. And one is the sequestration, which went into effect March 1st. It can be overturned. It could be. I'm not saying it's going to be, but it could be. And the second end of it was that there would have to be a continuing resolution, which would give Congress and the federal government normal budget authority going forward for the end of the year. Now, I think on Thursday, the House adopted a continuing resolution which does that. Still has to go to the Senate. I'm assuming they will do it. So the continuing resolution will be probably passed no later than March 27th, meaning the federal government will be in business. What all of this means to the housing authorities, you're going to know at the next meeting, because we're at the process of setting up our budget. From two ends, the Section 8 program is the simplest to understand and digest. The cuts are of 94%. Okay, this is a nationwide cut, and the upside of that is that probably 125,000 families will no longer have rental assistance. I don't know yet if that's going to affect the Elizabeth Housing Authority, because we work off of a couple of different types of reserves in Section 8 program. Our baseline Section 8 authority is 1103. We now have 1,053 people receiving Section 8 system assistance. And the reason is that because the payments and the rents could be higher, we are at full capacity in Section 8. To give you a backdrop, all this budget stuff comes at a very difficult time because we're actually fully occupied in public housing also. So if we don't have any vacancies, if somebody, had to put somebody somewhere today, we couldn't do that. So there's a lot of numbers being thrown around. Section 8, the national funding formula will be 94% of what it should have been. And in addition, the administrative fees are prorated downward to 69% of fee eligibility. HUD has a continual process of making their budgets where you set an eligibility level based on statutes and program requirements, and then HUD, based on the amount of money they get authorized from the federal government, tells you what percent of the need you're going to get. So the sequestration actually knocks the administrative fees down to 69%. There's going to be some housing authorities that at that level, particularly a small housing authority, I don't know how they're going to actually have the staff to run the program. Okay. We here have a luxury here because as all of these numbers come in, we have an operating reserve still intact where we have time to make the decisions. Not everybody has that, so I don't know what they're going to do, immediately. In New Jersey, if you got to do staff reductions, and you're on civil service, which most authorities are, it's a time-consuming process. So the upside could be very traumatic, and it follows, for all of you who've been in the business over a number of years, a downward trend of funding for public housing programs in Section 8 coming out of the federal government. And if you remember, last year they even took a substantial portion of our operating reserve if we had it, and they took it. So we're going to give you, because we're preparing our budgets that have to be submitted for HUD and the state, you'll get a better idea in April exactly what all of it means. The documents that Anna hands out, you should read them and read them very well. And they are directed not only to me, but to definitely the Board of Commissioners. So you really want to, these 4 documents, 2 pertain to Section 8 and 2 pertain to public housing, set the stage for what could happen and may happen going forward. Any questions? Okay, so I guess you guys think we'll figure all this out.
It's in your hands.
Yeah. And that's
No.
that.
I was aware about it.
Okay. We'll give you, I'm sure by that time we'll have a general idea, we'll have a specific idea where we're headed.
This is so new and changing every day that
There's different twists now coming out of it. This is the first, real directives coming out of HUD, so at least you have something, at least go to sleep later at
thanks.
Right, does anybody have any, or old business? New business? Alright. Resolutions?
Number 9, awarding the contract on miscellaneous engineering for all his sites. We do this on an annual basis. This is an on-call engineering company. We've had this firm in the past, so when something comes up, from an engineering aspect, we can call them in and they can give us the assistance that we do not have capacity in the existing staff. This contract is for an amount not to exceed $30,000.
This is related to the projects that we have running now. On 3rd Street, on 1st Street.
With this, no,
Yeah,
that
this
would have a
is
separate, those would have a separate engineering.
This is for just
Yeah, the existing site.
within what's existing.
Right.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor? Number 10, amending resolution number 5773, parking lot upgrade at J. William Farley Towers with the BlackRock Enterprises. If you remember in the February meeting, we awarded this contract. We awarded a base amount contract to an alternative. I guess because of the way the bids were structured, it is most prudent for us to, at this time, scale that back to the base bid contract, meaning there will be some more existing work that will be done, and to do that, we will subject that to an additional bid.
I'm a little confused on this one.
Your attorney can explain it to you.
At the last meeting, we approved, and now, what's the alternate? Or,
The alternative part is, there was the major part of Farley Towers, and there's another part. There's 2 different parts. Actually, there's 3 different parts. One is done. This is the bigger spot in the back, and the alternative, across the street, and then the space behind the building was the base. The alternative.
The problem was, one of the bid documents said the award would be based upon the lowest bid for, let's say, Part A. When you combined A and B, the person who had the lowest for A was not the lowest for A and B. So it would have created a problem if we awarded it to the person for A. He really wasn't the lowest bid.
okay,
But if you awarded it to the person who had the combined lowest bid, the person who had the lowest bid for A would have complained, said, hey, your specification said you were going to award it based on who had the lowest bid for Part A. So they decided just going to award it for Part A. It's the lowest bidder, and then they'll rebid the remaining portion.
No, I understand.
It was just,
Very good.
they were buying litigation. But
Perfect explanation. I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Awarding a contract for new heat and hot water systems at Mavlac Manor. This is the final phase. The contract will be Bayesian Mechanical Contracting Incorporated. This is an entirely new heat and hot water system at Mavlac Manor. 2/3 of this project have been completed, and this wraps the project up.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 12, amending resolution 5729 for the Elizabethport After School Arts and Education Program. This will allow us to provide and maintain a mentoring component which is sorely needed for this program. The services primarily are downtown kids. We have a variety of different programs, activities, and opportunities. And Ms. Bragg has structured this mentoring component. We kind of told her if this program was structured and you know, if she had it in place, that we would continue it with additional funding going forward to the end of the year, pending board approval. So that's the nature of the request tonight.
Can you explain a little bit what the impact program is?
Impact is a program that came about, I want to say 2 years ago. A number of different city leaders that work downtown, including Councilman Grover, we got together. A lot of the guys that donate their time, you know, doing the basketball program and boxing and stuff like that. So we got together downtown in River.
Yes.
We developed a number of different strategies, you know, just to help, you know, to add to what's going on down there, to attempt to keep the kids, you know, on track and provide additional outlets, you know, so that they could take advantage of opportunities and stay on the narrow path and get on with their lives.
Do you know the age range?
I believe it's 8. It's OCO is his program. I believe is 8. Must be 8 to 18. Yeah, you have to be.
Okay. Just curious.
It's just for the port area?
It's basically just for the port area. Yeah.
Is there anything in the near future where there might be something in other sections of town? We have kids all over, not just the port area.
But the city would be primarily responsible for that. We do have, you know, Mr. Spearman does do certain activities up here, you know, like at different points in time. Like he had a basketball camp. We had the, July, whatever, it wasn't July Fest. We had the carnival last year. We had an arts program last year up here. So we do run some programs out of that manner, but it's not to this level, but we do have some programs.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Uh, 13, awarding a contract purchase order for purchase and installation of new office furniture for our finance and purchasing department. You know, basically the furniture's been around there probably since 1996. Old and outdated and not particularly functional. Some of the offices are going to be, you know, reshaped. So this is a state contract which will allow us to provide complete furnishings for that department.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Question, Bill. What do you do with the old furniture? Do you resell it or?
We'll looking at it, I don't know what they do. It could, I don't know what they do, it's a good question, I'll ask Gene. I don't think you can sell it, because it was kinda like, it was half and half modular, I mean, they got the rugs down and all that stuff, but, this is gonna be more of a cubicle, effect, like what's actually over here in modernization. I don't really know if there was a lot of usefulness left to it. Well, I can find out.
No, because we use it for fundraising. I remember King University, when they redid, their buildings, their apartments, they sold it to the public.
Okay.
So, open.
So open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if there's anything left. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Adjournment.
I'll move it.
Hey, maybe something in there that, teach the kids how to do upholstery.
Yeah, I gotta find out what to do.
That's a thought.
Well, I guess we're not gonna go anywhere.
Second?
A second. Unless you guys want to stay here a little bit
Oh,
longer.
you moved, oh.
Okay, that's it. That's it, all in favor? Okay.
For me?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay, read this. I read something about this, I didn't read this article.
You did?